Hello neighbor, this is Curt with Etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Thule Outpace bike rack, and we're going to see how it works and how it functions with our 2024 Mazda CX-50. Now, if after watching this video you decide that the Outpace is the bike rack for you, you go ahead and you get it, you install it, you use it a few times, please share your experience with a few photos in the comments below. We would love to share your story with our other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. So if you've been on the hunt for a lightweight, compact, very easy to use, and versatile bike rack, Thule has introduced the Outpace, and I think it's going to check off a lot of boxes for you. It is a frame-mounted bike rack, and it has 3 points of contact with the 2 ratcheting wheel straps, along with this arm and strap right here. And I should let you know right off the bat that the bike that we chose today is really one of the larger frame bikes that we've got in the shop. You can orient the bike either way you want to, with the handlebars facing driver's side or passenger side. It really depends on the bike frame and where you get the best mount from. On this bike, our best mounting point was going to be this cross tube down here. And even though it is a much wider cross tube, as you can see, the strap works fine with it with plenty to spare. But you could reverse it depending on the bike and really kind of mount it anywhere on the frame you'd like, including the seat stem. So with all that being said, there is a 60-pound weight capacity per tray. So that's going to allow you to use some of your e-bikes as well. And however you orient this, I should mention as well that you want the chains to be facing away from each other. That way it's going to create the most amount of space here in between the bikes. But if we're talking about space, let's talk about how it fits on our CX-50. So the Outpace does keep it a little bit close to the vehicle, not as close as some other racks I've seen. And even on rougher terrain, it's really not, close enough for me to be worried about it making any contact with the vehicle. However, like with any platform bike rack, there are going to be some visibility limitations. You're going to see the bike out of your rear window. It's going to partially block your taillights. You're going to get some blockage of your license plate and, most importantly, out of your rear view camera right there. So let's grab a tape measure and we'll take a look at exactly what kind of footprint this is leaving behind our CX-50. Going to the rack back here, this is going to add only about 25.5 inches to the back of your vehicle. But just bear that in mind, because of that limited visibility you're getting out of the back, you're going to want to account for that extra 2 feet or so coming off of your bumper whenever you're trying to parallel park or back into a tight space. Another thing we want to take a look at is our ground clearance. Now, as you can see, the wheel trays kind of raise up as we get further away from the vehicle. It does slant upwards away from the ground. So our ground clearance shouldn't be an issue. In fact, at 23.5 inches, I'd say it's no issue at all. So you really shouldn't have too much to worry about when you're coming upon those driveways or steep inclines, but it is something that you might want to keep in mind. The other thing that I had mentioned is that you can carry bikes up to 60 pounds each on this rack. So you want to make sure that you're going to be comfortable being able to get your bike up about 21 inches to get into the closer tray and about 22 inches to get into the further tray. Now, one of the most common questions that we get when we're talking about platform bike racks is, will I still have access to my lift gate? And the Outpace will allow you to do that. It does have a tilt-away feature, but you activate it in a way that's really, really unique. So they've got this heavily reinforced rubber cord right here and this handle. And the idea is all you need to do is lift up against that cord. You'll see that red pop out there. We can lower it away from the vehicle, and now we can come around and we are going to end up getting full access to our lift gate. So this is fantastic. If you need to get in, get some other equipment, maybe grab some snacks while you're out on the trail, some more water, anything like that. If your bike is loaded up, you don't have to remove it to get in here. Another reason you may want to use it is maybe you ride a lot or you're on your way home from the trail and you want to hit the grocery store or something on the way home. Now you can get in and out of your cargo area without having to remove the bike at all. And in order to get it back into its upright position, all you need to do is grab this handle, lift up, you hear that click, this cord goes tight and that red disappears. That means we're upright in our lock position and we're ready to get back on the road. And removing the bike can be very easy with this rack as well. So we're going to have these two wheel straps that we're going to be taking off first. I'm going to begin with the front one, and we're just going to depress that gray tab on there to release it and feed it through the spokes and clear it out of our way. We're going to do the same back here on the rear wheel. And finally, it's that same tab mechanism up here on our arm. We're just going to go ahead and get that. Feed that through. Now we can remove our bike from the rack, and we're ready to either store it or go ahead and hit the trail. Now, there's going to be times where you're not going to have your bike with you, but you also don't want to remove the Outpace from your hitch. Luckily, it does have a stowaway position as well. That is going to be activated the same way that we did the tilt-away using this cord here. However, rather than letting it fall away, we're going to lift up against it instead, and we're going to get it right up against the back of the vehicle. Now, this is a pretty tight fit. If we could take a look right here at this tab, I've tried a few different ways of getting this kind of maneuvered and laid down, like moving the strap back and forth, and this is essentially the least intrusive way I could figure out how to do it. But when we tilt it up, it does rub a little bit against the bumper. Now, because this bike rack has an anti-rattle device, which I'll show you in just a moment, there's really no movement out of this at all. I'm not really too worried about the rack, you know, rubbing up against the bumper and really just kind of causing a lot of scratches or anything. But you should keep it in mind if you wanted to do something like put a little pad on it or something like that to make sure that you don't damage your bumper. That wouldn't be a problem at all. But while we have it in this upright position, we have significantly reduced that footprint behind the vehicle to now being only 8 inches. So now there's only 8 inches at back here you have to account for. And while we did regain a majority of our visibility, even our license plate is going to be partially visible at this point for other drivers, and we've really kind of freed up our visibility out of our rear view camera as well. The rear window and the tail lights, those are going to be completely visible to other drivers as well. So this should make for an altogether more safer ride. Now, as I'm down here, there is one other great feature about this rack that you really need to know about. So I think this rack is really kind of perfect for anybody that maybe doesn't want to keep their rack in the hitch all the time, or maybe you're somebody that lives like in an area where you don't have a garage or anywhere really to park your car inside at night and, you know, basically keep your bike rack secure. We're going to remove this from the hitch, and while we're doing it, there's a few really nice mechanisms to talk about. One, you are going to end up with a set of keys because there is a lock here on your hitch that's going to lock your rack into the receiver. That way, nobody can steal your rack. And there is also a lock that's located on the strap arm up here that will lock the rack to your bike. So it's double security, all key to like with this one key. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and unlock it. As I unlock it, this handle's going to come out. Now, what this does is as you tighten this, there's a wedge system inside the hitch here that's expanding out and making it anti-rattle. There is no movement inside there at all. It's also helping to lock in our hitch pin right here as well. So the first thing I want to do when I'm removing this is go ahead and get this loosened up. And as I loosen it up, you notice we're getting a lot more movement out of it. And yep, that loosens it enough that I can remove the hitch pin as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in place. We're going to take this out of our hitch. So as I remove this from the hitch, now a lot of times it's intended that you fold these in as you fold it up, but we discussed we didn't really have room for that in the back of the CX50, so we'll do it now as we're putting it into storage. We're just going to fold these cups in just like so. And now I'm going to use that same pull cord here, and we're going to collapse it down completely, just like this. Now it can stand on its own. It's about the size of a suitcase. This can fit in a closet or a corner of a garage or a corner of an apartment or anything like that. And it just makes it really compact and really handy. Again, extremely lightweight. You can get this up and down your apartment stairs generally without issue. And I think this is an excellent choice, again, for anybody that just has maybe not enough room to store a bike rack when they're not using it, or they just want to, have something lightweight that they can carry around very, very easily. So the Thule Outpace, for me, is a really good choice for the Mazda CX-50. The one issue that we kind of came across was in the stowaway position and it rubbing against our bumper right here. But other than that, it worked out really well, and I love how compact, lightweight, and versatile it is. So I'm Curt with Etrailer. Thanks for stopping by.